action.
Oh, we got action. It's time, y'all. Time once more again to lighten up your mind, elevate your soul, and lift your funky emotions. It is the Real University right here on your online platform. If you missed any performance that we do, shame on you. Get some real, man. Follow us with some class. That means click, like, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on every social media platform that you have access to and you logged into. And be sure to entertain past this message and be ready for some real talk right here with the Real. It's your favorite HBCU uncle, your life coach, getting down. It's your main man, Andy Brown, with the lovely ladies of the Real. The lovely, the one and only Delta Sigma Theta's own Mia. Mia, how you doing, sweetheart?
Hey.
Welcome back once more again. And the fantastic bombshell of the Morgan State, the lovely Auntie Tyann. How you doing?
Hey. Fresh off homecoming season, y'all. Time to go sit down.
Time to go sit down.
We're going to get the bands moving. We're going to get the conversation started. Whether you're in Kentucky, California, Mississippi, or Miami, tune in, log in, and get some of this good game from your kin folks that want to get y'all down with the real. Last week, we talked about some wonderful topics. We're going to continue that on with part 2 of why it's difficult to support HBCUs. And if you missed that for any reason, again, shame on you. Click back, follow us, and get some of this game. Here, what we talk about as we hit you with the second round. Mia, kick it off for us, please.
Coming in at number 7. No, I'm stop playing. So my number 7, and I actually had the opportunity to talk to a couple of my friends, my circle, and they brought up a really good point, and I'm coming in with community obligation.
Oh.
So, yeah. So it lit a light bulb for me, but as we just discussed things growing up, I grew up in the area where Morgan was and was definitely engaged from a young child in summer programs and camps. And I'm talking about multiples, like one ends, another one begins. I'm talking about I had my first campus experience living in a dormitory through a program at Morgan, and those things don't exist as much as they used to, or we don't hear about them. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. But another part that came up was there was a time where, and still even so in other areas, where that homecoming time period is a special time period for people who own different small businesses in those communities as well. It's an opportunity for them to earn well, sell well, expose their products, expose their businesses. And I found out that this year at my wonderful school that they didn't allow people to vend outside on the main street. So Andy, the Hill and Road is like the main street where you can see Morgan's campus from the beginning to end. And so it's a very crowded street because it's the same street where the parade takes place. It's the same street where people are parking. It used to be food trucks, vendors, shirts, things. They also have these things on campus. So I don't know if it was because they were trying to manage these people and have them on the campus, or if they were just trying to create a safety space. I don't know. But what hit me a little bit more was more so the programs that happened. I know that even some of those programs happened during the school year. Like I remember I got certified as a lifeguard at Morgan. Right. And so I don't know if the outreach is the same. And of course, this is another reason why I was very much so moved to join in this alumni space, because like Tyann might have knowledge of it because she's involved in what's happening on the schools versus me, let's just say from the outside looking in for the last 20 something years. So that was mine, community obligation, being able to reach out to the people in the areas in which these schools are established. Most of them are either in communities or not in communities at all. Like it's either or, it's no in between. So that's my number 7, community obligation.
We're getting down, folks. Please get in and get some of this. Tyann, what you got to say about this?
Well, I think I could piggyback off of that and give my number 6, which is, my number 6 is the old regime versus the new school. So a couple of things about some of the points that you made, Mia. One, Morgan may be an anomaly right now. The campus has expanded as such.
Yeah.
We have a new regime. when we were there, and y'all know I profess to the high hills that I am an Earl Richardson baby.
All day, every day, school of business, baby. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's not. No. You're talking about Earl Graves.
Earl Graves. I'm sorry. You said Earl.
President Richardson.
I'm sorry. You said President Richardson. I'm sorry. I'm Earl Graves. I'm sorry.
And with that,
Black Enterprise Earl Graves.
We had a
Black
lot of
Enterprise Earl Graves went to Morgan State University. Yes, he did.
For sure.
He did too, and that's who our business school is actually named after. I'm one of the first graduates. But our community outreach is a little different. I mean, a lot of our HBCUs were founded because of the lack thereof in those areas. So it was up to us to hold the torch and continue, the community service on different levels. I mean, sometimes we know, I'm just going to throw it out there, people do their community service only because they're in pursuit of letters and things like that. But the crux of our community was making sure that we can give back. We can give the same type of experiences to the youth that look like us. So there were a lot of programs that we had, that we did a lot of youth outreach for. I can't speak for Morgan right now, but I will speak for quite a few other HBCUs in the South that still do it loud and proud. I have to actually give shouts out to Florida A&M University. Even during the pandemic, they extended their summer programs virtually, and my son was able to take advantage. And not only that, they even supported him after he decided not to go to FAMU, offered him a book scholarship to the current university he's at. Each year he participated in the program. He got a backpack overnighted to him with all types of amenities. One included a brand new iPad. So a lot of those are there. Xavier has one that they invite the students to campus for 6 weeks.
But what about kids outside of who are looking to go to those schools, like middle schools and like high schools? Because that was the age group. I was in middle school.
But you know what? Think about it. The population in a lot of our areas has had great turnover. This is one thing that I say as a parent a lot to a lot of my peers. Our kids didn't grow up urban. So the people that probably know about those programs and could benefit by putting their kids in there are no longer living in those neighborhoods. Or remember, there's kind of been a generation gap lately. Nobody's having kids too much anymore.
True. Good point.
So again, if we don't have a population to serve, then we have to let those programs go. But again, kind of tying that back from the old regime to the new school, there were certain, I want to address the certain traditions that our HBCUs are so famous for. The new regime is on the fence on that a lot of the times. We're about advancement, we're about this and we're about that, but there's still a pride in the traditions that we have on our campus. The Promethean procession, convocations, getting dressed up for chapel. I mean, again, we have to be cognizant of people's religious beliefs and values, but these were ceremonial type things that have kind of gone by the wayside. But again, it's still what makes that campus experience unique. But then on the flip side, there are certain things that about that pride and the tradition that is great. But then when you got old souls and old bodies that don't care about moving the campus future forward and stagnation, it's like, okay, how do we find that perfect balance between the old school and the new school? And I hate to say this, a lot of the new school have no idea what our traditions are. They're not a part of the school community. So again, a lot of our HBCUs, like I said, it's a rose. It's a good smelling rose, but it's also a rose with a thorn, because back in the day when you had professors that were there 30 and 40 years and stuff like that, they kept the traditions alive. They kept you in order, but at the same time, sometimes they were the reason why things were stagnant. So it's like, how do we get that fine line in maintaining our traditions, but also making sure that we have what it is that we need to compete in this millennium? So again, that's one of the biggest gripes that I have, is that we haven't found that balance. And then I'm sorry, I have to throw shade, but one of our most time honored traditions, I have seen 5 bands perform this year.
Coming back to the bands.
I'm coming back to the
on
bands.
the bands.
Y'all new school band members, y'all low energy new school band members. I need those old band directors of yore to come back and be tapping for them high knees. I need the energy. Like they are so low energy, and I'm not the only one saying it. It was just announced that our band is going to be in the Rose Bowl in 2026, and I'm like,
oh, nice.
Doing what?
Doing what? We didn't make the top 10 on either one of those lists, though.
And not only that, and even. But so
some of the ones who made it should have made it.
I was at another classic, and again, a band from the South that I expected a little bit more from. Everybody sitting up there still. And a lot of us from the old regime is like, what is this?
You got some. I think you brought up some really good points that I think that deserves a whole nother episode within itself. Traditions.
The bands are not giving them what you need to see or hear.
I'm not moved.
She is not moved.
I'm not moved.
Okay, so we got changing of the guard. That's a good one. I think that deserves its own episode.
Oh, yeah,
probably.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, Andy.
So as we move a little bit forward, we're going to shift a little bit, but I see where this is coming from. Folks, if you're just now tuning in and getting some of this game, go ahead and rewind the tape back a little bit, pull the knob back so you can catch a little bit from the beginning and even go back to the first part of what we're discussing. Top 10 reasons why it's difficult to support HBCUs. Let me smack you across the head with number 5, and I think you're going to see and learn a little bit why this can be considered difficult, because I'm going to talk about it. Yes, I'm going to go there. The church and the state, right? Separate planning committees. We got this group over here. We got this group over here. And forbid we have another group somewhere else across town, that everybody has to have their say-so and be in charge of how things are going to go down. Why? I don't know. Could it be egos? Could it be travel? Could it be money? Could it be the fact that somebody just doesn't agree with how things want to go, and they want to be in, as Janet Jackson once said, control of everything that goes on? Now, we don't mind leadership because it's going to change. We get that. Tyon just talked about the changing of the guard, right? Mm-hmm. There are different generations who have stepped on afterward, post-graduation, right? So their era was a little bit different, and that's okay. But when we have to look at it, is we have to come back as one university, right? One systematic way to do this.
One band, one sound.
Giving back. Yes. We don't have to have so many different leaders that have to be in place for such and such to occur. Now, why is that important? Why do you say that, Amy? We just got to have, everybody has a different approach. Everybody has a different style. Possibly so. And I'm not taking away from that. But what I am saying is, when it comes to leadership and advice and direction and giving back, we all want to be on the same accord. We want to be on the same page. We want to give back for the same reason. That leadership separates those back end questions about where's my money going? Why should I be doing this? Well, they used to do it like this over here. Get rid of all that. If we're doing it for the purpose of the school and our university and our alumni, our prestigious alum, then we should come together, make the thing right, and stick together on the premise and the basis of what needs to happen to give back to our university the right way. You don't know who's going to be touching this money. You don't know who's going to show up or not show up, because we have had those situations happen, haven't we?
So we're going to talk about that, because I think what I'm going to say, and then I want Tyon to say what she did after what happened, that we might be talking about the same thing. Okay. And kind of sort of how this whole topic came to be. So I'm going to interject here with when Andy's talking about communication, separate but equal, how do you plan a whole classic, have an entire entire college fair and not communicate with those attendees of that said college fair that the said college fair was canceled, I need someone to help me understand. So I'm not going to go on a tangent like I did the first time, because that was, that was the inner. But because Tyon is who she is and is an act, she is active in those spaces. And I know she had that fire under her. Just one of those reasons why. Tyon, help us understand what it's like on the inside. What are these folks talking about at these alumni association meetings and all these other great things that help us?
So I'm actually going to address something that Andy said when he talked about the leadership. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. But is that the blessing and the curse in going to an HBCU? Because we're always touting that you have a voice here. We're always touting that we energize the next set of leaders. Do we have so many leaders that we don't have any followers anymore?
A good leader knows how to follow.
Hello.
A good leader actually knows how to listen to the followers.
Yeah.
Or a good leader is okay to be followed. The followers are like, yep, that's it.
Yep, that makes sense.
But the thing about it is, and I'll address what you mentioned as well, but I wanted to go back to that point. It's like we're always trying to tout leadership in a way that it's, I've got to be the boss. And there's a difference between being a boss and a leader.
And a leader, yep.
And then I'm just going to say this. You touched on ego, and I see this not only within the HBCU space, but I see this in a lot of African-American organizations, period.
Oh, yeah.
People don't have enough to do, and they don't have enough control in their life. So when they come in and they have one thing that they can contribute to, they take it a tad bit too far. Just a tad bit too far.
She said it.
But now, Mia, to kind of address what you were saying about what's going on in some of these spaces and places when it comes to decision making, I'll say this. There are the ones that get it, and we're too busy trying to be diplomatic. And then there's the ones that don't know how to be diplomatic, that have an agenda that always seem to prevail. So, and then there's also this lingering don't tell the family business type thing. But y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'm gonna call you out. Because again, we're kind of using aliases to describe what happened. But let's use this platform to call them out.
Real.
I have attended quite a few classics. This is my first time going to that one. I have attended quite a few college fairs that have been sponsored by these classics. It's simple. It's a simple formula.
It really is.
It's a very simple formula. But I wanted to say, literally, when we were planning to go doing what we were doing, all of the difficulties that Andy was having in trying to help us coordinate, like I was in the mindset, and again, I was being diplomatic, but I was in the mindset of, why are we waiting on them to do what it is that we want to do? We know what we want to do. We're an independent entity. Let's go do it. Let's make it happen. But again, there's that thing about diplomacy. There's a thing about giving our people a chance. Well, sometimes you got to put your foot down. I'm sorry. You got to put your foot down. And then so somebody needs to say to them, you know what? That was some BS. That was some straight up BS. And matter of fact, how are you going to compensate us? I don't know whose endowment is bigger, but somebody needs to compensate us for the travel and the time spent by our rep who actually had to travel in for that particular fair. And then that's not to say, you know, all of the other schools that may have been stranded and tried to figure out what was going on, but that puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And like I said, that was my first time actually attending a classic in the South. So I don't want to make this a North versus the South thing at all. But I just, it's because it's not. But I just want, it definitely a bad power move. And on top of that, it's to say, again, is this one of those factors where the old school versus the new school couldn't get it together?
See there.
That's a good question because we don't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
know who
yeah.
was behind the planning of it. I know the two schools came together to split responsibilities. Obviously, one school managed it from, it looks like, from a hospitality space because they were in multiple spaces throughout that weekend. And if this was the one thing that this school had to do, make sure their team showed up and manage this college fair. I mean, you couldn't call somebody.
That was
You
it.
couldn't
You
send out an
can't call
email.
nobody.
You couldn't send a text
You
message and say,
can't
hey.
call nobody.
You couldn't call nobody and say, hey, the college fair is canceled.
Oh,
I mean,
And
yeah.
not only
They
just
didn't
say that the
pass
fair
go.
is canceled, you took our money.
you
You
took our
took the
money
money. You
from
took our
these schools.
registration fee. You took it.
And we didn't pass go. But you
We didn't
collected
Took
your
collect
it.
$200.
$200.
And then if you knew, and then quite honestly, because y'all know I'm a logistics fanatic, but quite honestly, that venue might not have been conducive for the college fair. Did you realize that after you decided to book one in that particular space? Because my rep is getting hassled for trying to enter the state fair. Because I mean, quite honestly, the facility was in the state fair. So my
Exactly.
rep is getting hassled by those that are doing their job. That was what they were paid to do, and not letting her in to only find out that it was canceled. But again,
Yeah.
so look at if the Battle of the Bands was at a school or a high school, why not, when you had that captive audience, why not have
Had the college
college
fair there.
Because there was
what's
plenty of
going on with the
space.
planning and the logistics here? And see,
Yeah.
okay, oh, Andy, I got a point that I have a point. I have a point. Most of the
Come on with it.
people that are on these committees that are branching off have no idea or no clue about what it takes to run specific parts of that organization. So I'll say this. You got somebody on the finance committee that's bouncing
Don't know
their
how to
own
manage
checks.
money. Right. Right. You always honor your own money, but you want to
if
run
you
the bit up.
literally have, so look at our boards. Now, I mean, I always like to draw comparisons to how things work in the real world, in the business world. But when you have a board of directors on any corporate entity, you're there because of your expertise in a certain area.
Right.
What are these boards that we're all made up of? Because I know, damn it, I'm gonna consider myself a damn marketing genius. But all the time somebody tries to put me down someplace and not let me know what it is or what it is that I know what to do. Because they know how to do it better, but don't have a degree in it. Some of y'all social workers need to go sit down somewhere.
I see nothing wrong with what she said.
Me neither. So yeah,
We just came off about 10 pounds lighter, didn't we?
I do. I feel better. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do. I feel a lot better because it's just like, what are you doing?
Control.
Ooh. Okay. Well, there we have it.
Yeah.
7, 6, and 5 of the top 10 reasons why
it's difficult. Not to say that we don't, but it's difficult, people, to support our HBCUs and give the love back because somebody somewhere on somebody's campus or alum just wants to show out. This is not the time for stunting.
No, it's not.
It's the time
This
for
whole
growth.
conversation is the reason why I was excited about joining that one organization. So I'm gonna see how it works because apparently it consists of multiples who are from multiple folks who are from multiple HBCUs, which is wonderful. Right. So hopefully there's a voice, there's something, there are takeaways from these meetings that actually can get to certain spaces. Where in the Divine Nine, we had the Panhandle, we discuss things as a group of different organizations. I hope and pray that that's the same thing for this organization. I'm excited to become a part of it and just to see how the voices are being heard and what is the action behind it. We are all very intelligent, to Tyan's point, very intelligent individuals. We have a lot of different skill sets. Let's utilize them for the betterment and to grow the people, to grow the spaces for what we want people to be able to have positive outcomes from, right?
Absolutely.
We want them to have positive things. We don't want to just support it because that's what we're supposed to do. We want to support it because these are the things that we helped grow. These are the things that helped make us, right? These are the things that helped us become who we are today. And, let's just make it better. That's the end result. Let's make it better. Let's start a conversation. Hopefully somebody who's on here knows a board of region. I know too.
And that's
two different schools.
Literally, there are sidebar organizations that are literally out there ready to challenge the administration, and we're making our voices heard. But when we come around, oh God, here they come. Yeah, yep. Well, no, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Let's get it.
I said that. Oh God, here you come when you walked in the room. So
the voice of no reason.
Which oh God is superior at this point? Can we come together for the betterment of the university? And I think that's what people lose sight of. It's like
correct.
People lose sight of the betterment of the collective.
Yeah,
we have to stop this individualism.
Yeah,
because it was the collective and the community that got us to the height of where we were. And again, going back to
yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, foolish. That is it for the real team. I think we just said all that we needed to say. Number 7, 6, and 5 of our top 10 reasons why it is hard to support our HBCUs. We are excited to come back for the rest of our list. Team, this is a great conversation as always. And we're out.